I'm Stu, and this is Lags, and we're in a rock and roll band called Gallows.
Okay, we're going to talk about 30 Days a Night, a rather gory but spectacular vampire flick.
Board the windows. Try to hide. They're coming.
They? Who are they?
Yeah, I've loved vampire movies from a very early age since I can remember seeing Lost Boys, I think was the first one.
But if you've never seen this film, and there's no reason why now you shouldn't be able to go and see it because it's out on DVD.
Where are we going?
I'm heading back to your house.
The film is set in a town in North Alaska called Barrow.
It reminds me a lot of like the Dawn of the Dead remake recently, so it's got, you know, the whole thing's been updated to now.
Sure, right?
Basically, this lovely community of lovely people get attacked by a feast of horrible, deformed monsters, vampires, really.
Coincidentally, right as their winter sets in, which causes 30 days of complete and utter darkness. It's just in that region of the world.
And no pun, but that's gonna suck.
Yeah.
The scariest part of the film is probably the beginning when you don't really see the vampires, you just see people getting pulled away.
On three.
We need you at the station.
Copy that. I think Evan starts off as my least favourite and then becomes my favourite simply because he's a bit of a wooden character. Then by the end of it he's like chopped off about 20 different heads, so that's a big change from like I'm not gonna kill this guy because, you know, it's against the law to like, right, give me an axe.
Josh, welcome to Film 24. How are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you doing?
You're very well, very well. So tell us a little bit about this movie.
I play the sheriff of the town. Starts the day before night comes and stays with us for a month, and obviously the vampires come to town and I have to fight them.
I'd never go to anywhere where there's 30 days of night. I'd go crazy.
You don't bring me what I want to eat, what I want to drink.
That's enough, pal. Leave the lady be.
The movie's actually based on a graphic
It is
novel?
based on a graphic novel, yes.
Yeah, the graphic novel that comes with the DVD set's cool because it gives you a little insight into what happens after 30 Days of Night, the original book itself.
It seems to me that there's a lot of kind of reference to the graphic novels. Is that the case?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like that's our source material. We want to stick as close to it as possible, but still make it a sort of realistic world so that people, you know, actually get emotionally involved. And I think it becomes more terrifying that way.
And with many kind of films based on comic books, they can either suck really bad, or in some small circumstances it can be absolutely brilliant. I think this is one of the better ones.
The source material of 30 Days of Night was strong, and the art was so specific and potent that it was really finding a way to humanize these vampires.
Visually, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
All the vampires are pretty scary in this film. Like they're kind of like a mixture between like human and rabid animal, which is cool.
I mean, it is a horror movie, but it's a very gripping film actually. You know, and I think one of the things about it is when you've got subject matter about vampires, which is essentially mythical. You know, it relies on a real sort of acting commitment from all of the cast to kind of make it real.
For a film in this genre, it's well, you know, many steps above what I think the rest of the films in horror are kind of doing these days.
If all you've experienced of vampire movies or anything to do with vampires is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, then you're in for a very, very big surprise.
Different experience.
Maybe nasty.
A lot of vampire films play up to the whole kind of like sex fetishy part of it, I think. It's normally like hot chicks dressed in black leather or whatever, and this one's pretty much, they're just hungry beasts.
There's no Slayer in this. There's no cute little teenagers.
What I liked about this film is it goes back to, I think, the absolute original idea of vampires.
Yeah, they certainly haven't got this kind of almost romantic gothic look, these vampires. They're killing machines, really, aren't they? They look kind of different, loads and loads of teeth rather than just a little two.
Teeth. You know, it's not pretty, but razor sharp teeth.
Probably the worst vampire in any film is that cartoon on the little vampire, whatever, it's that little girl. It's about as scary as the Teletubbies. It's a bit rubbish. Best vampire is probably the lead dude in 30 Days of Nights in this one.
It's really been a delight. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I have a character who, not to use too obvious a pun, but one that I can really sort of sink my teeth into, and it's been a joy. Playing characters that are considered as evil are always fun because they're sort of larger than life characters.
The vampires use their own language. Where did that all come from? Was that just part of the script, or was it developed as you went through the
It was
film?
developed, actually. I think. I mean, it was part of the script originally, but then Danny came out and really kind of fleshed it out with David.
Some people come in and they act. Some people come in and they do what they know they can do. Some people come in and do what you ask them to do. Some people just take it on as a project, and this is something very much that Danny Houston did. He was very involved in the creation of the language.
If anybody is so disposed, they can study the language, and it will make sense. And it will track, and it's real.
But while he is a heroic lead, he is playing a fragmented hero, which I think is always more interesting, a more human character, a more person with flaws.
And then I go, bam! And then he keeps going.
A person who loses his temper, a person who is like you and me, and not just an invincible strong man who goes around cutting vampires' heads off.
The special features are really cool. It shows you how they did all the stunts. My favourite character in the film's probably that evil little girl vampire. She's about 6 years old, she gets turned into a vampire and she bites some dude's head clean off his shoulders.
Did you think during your career that at some point you'd be required to decapitate a small child for your work?
I didn't. That was not me. That was kid who plays my brother. But no, of course, this film is not, I guess, what I had in mind if I had an ultimate structure to my career that I could lay it out and say immediately I wanted to move into dramas and kind of highbrow comedies and things like that. But when I read the script and I talked to Sam Raimi about it and then met David Slade, I realized they were going to make something really special. I'd be stupid not to be involved.
I think this is probably one of the most sophisticated films I've ever worked on. Visually, having shot already 4 months into the film, just seeing what I've seen back, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
What makes the film special is the concept, the way it's shot, and I think the actors involved. Danny Houston playing the lead vampire is an excellent actor. He really fleshes this out. Ben Foster playing kind of essentially the Renfield character really knocks it out of the park. And I don't know, it's just a interesting concept and also just a new look at kind of the vampire genre.
The main character, the sheriff of the town, he suffers from asthma, and you don't get enough heroes who suffer from asthma. And he's a good role model. Our guitarist has asthma.
That cold ain't the weather. That's death approaching.
They're tearing through everyone's home.
We can last the month.
So, 30 Days of Night. Thumbs up. 2 of them.